Have you ever sat in a public place and felt completely, utterly alone, surrounded by the murmur of life, yet locked in a silent chamber of your own disappointment? For one woman in a red dress, that feeling was about to be shattered by a gesture she never saw coming, from a man she'd never even met. The rain wasn't just falling that Friday night. It was throwing itself against the windows of the Oak Leaf Bistro, each drop a tiny fist of frustration. And inside, Clara felt every single one. She checked her phone, 5:43 p.m. He was 18 minutes late. Her elegant red dress, which had felt so hopeful when she put it on, now seemed to cling to her like a desperate question. Is this a mistake? At a corner booth just a few feet away, a man named Ben was trying to coax a smile from his 7-year-old daughter, Lily. She was coloring a picture of a unicorn, her small face serious with concentration. "Daddy, can we get the chocolate muffin after?" Lily signed, her hands moving with a quiet grace. "After you eat your real food, superstar," Ben signed back, his own movements a bit slower, but practiced and full of love. He tucked the strand of hair behind her ear, his finger gently brushing the hearing aid that rested there. Back at her table, Clara's hope was curdling into a cold, hard lump of humiliation. Then the door chimed. A man in a crisp jacket, looking slightly annoyed, scanned the room. His eyes landed on her. He walked over. "Clara, sorry. Traffic was a beast." He didn't sound sorry. He sat without waiting for a response. This was Mark. For 10 minutes, Clara navigated the choppy waters of first date small talk. She leaned in slightly, focusing on his lips, her brain working overtime to piece together his words against the backdrop of clattering dishes and distant laughter. Then came the moment it all fell apart. "So, you're a nurse?" Mark said, a statement more than a question. "Must be tough with, you know." He gestured vaguely toward his own ear. Clara took a steadying breath. "I have moderate hearing loss. I wear hearing aids. It's in my profile." Her voice was calm, a stark contrast to the tremor in her hands. Mark's face shifted from casual interest to something colder, more calculating. "Your profile said hearing difficulties. I thought you meant like a slight mumble or something. I didn't realize you were actually disabled." The word landed in the space between them. Ugly and final. It sucked the air right out of Clara's lungs. At the next booth, Ben's hand froze midair. He'd been about to sign carrot for Lily's vegetable drawing. His jaw tightened. He didn't mean to eavesdrop, but the man's voice carried, sharp and cruel. "Daddy?" Lily signed, her eyes wide with worry. "Why is he being so mean to the lady in the pretty dress?" Ben's heart ached. He signed back, his movements deliberate. "Some people, sweetheart, are afraid of things they don't understand. And sometimes fear comes out as anger." But Mark wasn't finished. He let out a short, dismissive laugh. "Look, Clara, be realistic. This is a lot. Having to make sure you can hear me, repeating everything, it sounds exhausting. My last girlfriend had perfect hearing, and we still had communication problems. I can't deal with this." He stood up, pulling out his wallet and tossing a $20 bill on the table. "For my drink. No hard feelings. But you should really be more upfront about this stuff. It's not fair to waste people's time." Clara stared at the money on the table, a symbol of her worth in his eyes. $20 and a dismissal. She felt the hot prick of tears, but willed them not to fall. She would not give him that satisfaction. As Mark turned to leave, something remarkable happened. Ben stood up, but he didn't confront Mark. He didn't say a word. Instead, He took 2 steps and positioned himself directly in Clara's line of sight, his back to the retreating man, and then his hands began to move. They were strong, capable hands, the kind that probably built things or affixed them, and they shaped the air into a language Clara understood in her soul, a language of silence that in that moment was louder than any sound. You deserve so much better than a man who is too small to see your strength. Clara's breath hitched. The tears she'd been holding back now welled in her eyes for a completely different reason. This stranger, this man with the kind, tired eyes, was speaking to her, really speaking to her. Mark, who had paused at the door to shoot a final, scornful look, scoffed. "Oh, I see. You two know each other. Makes sense. Guess you found your match." The door slammed shut behind him, the bell jangling violently. The silence he left behind was different now. It was charged, not with humiliation, but with a fragile, newfound connection. Ben turned, his expression soft with empathy. "May I?" he asked out loud, while his hand gestured to the empty chair. Clara could only nod, her throat too tight for words. As Ben sat, a small shadow fell across the table. Lily had creeped over, clutching her unicorn drawing. "I'm sorry he was so mean," Ben said, simultaneously speaking and signing, so both Clara and Lily could understand. Clara found her voice, a whisper. "Thank you. I I don't even know what to say." "You don't have to say anything," Ben signed. "He showed you exactly who he was. You're better off." "Your dress is very pretty," Lily signed, shyly peeking out from behind her father's arm. A genuine smile, the first all evening, broke through Clara's pain. "Thank you," she signed back. "I like your unicorn. It looks very brave." Lily's face lit up like a sunrise. "It is. Its name is Stella. Do you know the sign for unicorn?" As Lily demonstrated, Ben watched, something warm and unfamiliar unfurling in his chest. He hadn't seen Lily connect with a new person this quickly since, well, since her mother. The thought of Sarah was a familiar, dull ache, a part of him now. "You signed beautifully," Clara said to Ben, pulling him from his thoughts. "How did you learn?" Lily was diagnosed with progressive hearing loss when she was 4, he explained, his hands moving in sync with his words. It was a steep learning curve. I spent months feeling like I was failing her, but then I realized it wasn't about me learning for her. It was about us learning together. It became our thing, our secret code. Clara's eyes glistened. That's the most beautiful way I've ever heard it described. Most people see it as a limitation. "Can I tell you a secret?" Lily interjected, her small face serious. She leaned closer to Clara. "Sometimes, at the playground, when all the kids are screaming and it's too loud, I turn my hearing aids down, and it's quiet, just me and the wind. It's my superpower." Clara's heart melted. She signed back, her movements filled with emotion. "I know that superpower. When I was studying to be a nurse, the hospital was so loud and overwhelming. Learning to find the quiet moments, that's what got me through. Your superpower will take you far." "You're a nurse for kids? Like you help them when they're scared?" "I do," she signed. "And sometimes when they see my hearing aids, they realize I'm a little different too, and it makes them feel less alone." Ben watched this exchange, the conversation flowing seamlessly between spoken word and silent gesture, and he felt a door-A's heart, long since closed, creak open. Here was a woman who didn't see his daughter's world as a problem to be solved, but as a landscape to be explored. I almost didn't come tonight, Clara admitted, her hand stilling on the table. My sister set this up. I haven't dated in years. I guess I thought maybe I was ready to be seen again. Ben reached across the table, not to take her hand, but to place his own palm up on the worn wood, an invitation, a gesture of solidarity. We accept the love we think we deserve. And you, Clara, deserve a love that sees you, all of you. Clara looked at his offered hand, at the kindness in his eyes, and for the first time all night, she felt truly seen. She placed her hand gently on top of his. Their fingers didn't intertwine, but the connection was electric. Daddy, Lily signed with her free hand, a mischievous glint in her eye. Are you making a new friend? Ben kept his eyes on Clara as he signed back with his own free hand. I really hope so, Lily. I really hope so. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe. What happens next in this delicate, newfound connection? Will this single chance encounter become something more? In the warm, quiet aftermath of a storm of cruelty, a simple touch of a hand can feel like a promise of something new, something better. But after a heart has been bruised, hope can be a terrifying thing. For Clara, Ben, and little Lily, sitting in that booth, the future was a blank page, and they were about to start writing the first tentative words together. The restaurant manager, an older woman with a kind face and a name tag that read Marge, approached their table. She made sure to face Clara directly. I saw what happened, Marge said, her voice low and sincere. That was completely unacceptable. Your dinners tonight are on the house. All of you. Ben started to protest, but Marge held up a hand. Please, it's the least I can do. We're better than that here. She gave Clara a warm, motherly smile before heading back to the kitchen. You didn't have to do that, Clara said to Ben, her hand still resting on his. Stand up for me like that. Yes, Ben said, his voice firm. I did. He glanced at Lily, who was watching them intently. She's learning how to move through the world. What kind of father would I be if I let her think it's okay to stay silent when someone is being treated so poorly? Clara felt a fresh wave of emotion. This wasn't just chivalry, it was parenting. It was character. Can I ask? Clara signed, her movements hesitant. Your wife, Lily's mom? Ben's smile softened, but didn't disappear. Sarah passed away 2 years ago, a sudden illness. It was very fast. He paused, gathering himself. She was a teacher. She would have loved you. She believed that everyone has a unique song to sing and that we just have to learn to listen in different ways. She had pretty hair like you, Lily added, her signs small and thoughtful. Daddy says she's in the stars now and she winks at us every night. She sounds wonderful, Clara signed, her heart aching for this little girl and the man who was doing his best to raise her. Their food arrived and the conversation continued to flow as easily as the soft jazz in the background. Clara taught Lily the sign for stethoscope, making it into a funny game. Ben shared stories of Lily's determination, how she taught her entire brownie troop to sign the pledge. Last week, Ben said, a proud grin spreading across his face, her best friend Maya stood up in front of the whole class and signed her entire All About Me presentation just so Lily could follow along without lip reading. She'd been practicing for a month in secret. Maya is my best friend, and now you can be my friend too, Lily signed, beaming. The simplicity of it, the pure, uncomplicated acceptance nearly undid Clara. She had walked into this restaurant braced for judgment and had found a community in a booth for 3. As the evening wound down and Lily began to yawn, Ben knew it was time to go. But the thought of this moment ending felt wrong. Lily and I, he began, a nervous flutter in his stomach. "We have a tradition. Saturday morning pancakes at the Sunny Skillet. It's quiet, and they have these chocolate chip pancakes that are, well, they're legendary. Would you like to join us tomorrow?" Clara's breath caught. The sensible part of her, the part that had been hurt, screamed caution, but looking at Lily's hopeful, sleepy face and Ben's earnest eyes, that voice was drowned out by a much louder, more hopeful one. "Please come," Lily signed, her movement sluggish but fervent. "I'll show you my rock collection, and Daddy tries to tell jokes, but they're not very funny." Ben feigned offense, and Clara laughed, the sound light and free. "I would love to. I love chocolate chip pancakes." The following morning, the rain had cleared, leaving the world washed clean and sparkling. The Sunny Skillet was as warm and welcoming as promised. Clara walked in, dressed in a simple sweater and jeans, feeling more like herself than she had in years. Lily was already waving from a booth, a small box of rocks placed ceremoniously on the table. The breakfast was filled with easy laughter and the kind of conversation that feels like picking up a thread you'd only just set down. They talked about favorite books, dream vacations, and the mysterious smell that had once emanated from Ben's attempt at meatloaf. Weeks turned into months. Saturday pancakes became a sacred ritual. Then came Wednesday night dinners. Then Clara was sitting in the audience at Lily's school concert, her heart swelling as she watched the children sing and sign a song about friendship in unison.